Hey everybody, Nick Fershaw here with Andrew Wiebe for MLSsoccer.com. Our big match preview for the U.S. national team in Honduras in the CONCACAF World Cup Qualifier Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and Unimas with a live chat on MLSsoccer.com out there at Rio Tinto Stadium. And if you're a U.S. national team fan, have to feel pretty good about what's been going on over the last week or so for Jurgen Klinsmann's guys. 2 straight wins in the qualifiers, a lineup that seems pretty set, pretty congealed. Some good momentum for the U.S. going in this game.
Yeah, the consensus was that this is the best U.S. performance under Jurgen Klinsmann. Panama, that is. That victory has really springboarded this team. You're now starting to see defined roles. You're starting to see players know exactly what their job is on the field. That has been a complaint of the Klinsmann era. So many different lineups. Of course, there will be some changes, some suspensions, some injuries, but I think now you have the backups, you have the squad, so to speak, in place to get it done in these big World Cup qualifiers. Top of the group after halfway through the hex. That is a massive place to be for Klinsmann and his men.
Yeah, especially after a big win over Panama 2-0 up in Seattle when you mentioned it. Really their best performance yet under Jurgen Klinsmann. That lineup pretty much set other than an issue you mentioned. At left back, DeMarcus Beasley is suspended for yellow card accumulation. He's really been something of a revelation for Klinsmann's guys over the last few games, a career rebirth. With the U.S. national team, you have to assume Fabian Johnson is the guy that slides back at the left spot, but then who takes over in the midfield?
Well, it's really a 2-horse race for Jurgen Klinsmann on the left side there. Brad Davis, the most obvious candidate, a natural left-sider over there. The service that he will bring would certainly open things up for Jozy Altidore, but I think he could go with Eddie Johnson. You saw against Guatemala last year in Kansas City. He and Clint Dempsey have some amazing chemistry. He showed very well on that right flank with Graham Zusi out against Panama. He's another option. Either way, at left back, it's going to be one of Fabian Johnson or Edgar Castillo. I personally think that they'll likely shift Fabian Johnson back unless they want to keep him on that left midfielder side. If they don't do that, though, Edgar Castillo, an able deputy, a little bit shaky performance in his last time out, but I think he can do the job against this Honduras team.
That's one of the only lineup issues for the U.S. national team. On the other side of the coin, Honduras, they've got some big issues coming into this game. Not only are they stuck in the middle of the pack in the World Cup qualifying table after a few mixed results thus far, they've got injuries and they've got some personnel issues. Jerry Benson, the New England Revolution forward, has left camp. He's back in the United States. Boniek Garcia, a real great playmaker for the Houston Dynamo, is injured. Victor Bernard, as the rock of that San Jose Earthquakes defense, he's suspended. Those are the names I think a lot of MLS fans are familiar with. The only other one left standing is Marvin Chavez, speedy winger for the San Jose Earthquakes, formerly with FC Dallas. A very good player. Our own Greg Lawless takes a look at why he's such a threat to the U.S. national team.
What is Marvin Chavez? A speedy winger, a set-piece specialist, a tenacious opponent? D. All of the above. For Honduras, he doesn't need to be the jack-of-all-trades that he is for the San Jose Earthquakes, but his impressive array of weapons will make him a constant threat to the U.S. team. Out on the flank, he's all about speed and a quick first step. And if he lines up on the left side, that could cause problems for right back Brad Evans. And Chavez has the talent to whip in a good cross. He may not be the first choice on set pieces for Honduras, but if he's given an opportunity, he can take it. And although they're rarely mentioned, he hits a very nice corner kick. But it's his heart and fierce competitiveness that should have U.S. fans most worried. He's not afraid to mix it up, and unlike some attack-minded players in CONCACAF, he will track back. So what is Marvin Chavez? He's a threat, and that's all you need to know.
Thanks, Greg. Now, Andrew, one of the guys that could be tasked with clogging up that midfield to stop Marvin Chavez could be Jeff Cameron, the former Houston Dynamo star, who really had a breakthrough performance his last time out against Panama, filling in for Jermaine Jones, who had that concussion issue after the Jamaica game. Now, Jurgen Klinsmann left with the question, who do you start, Jeff Cameron or Jermaine Jones, and how does it all apply to where Michael Bradley fits in?
Yeah, that's the big question. I think that if Jermaine Jones is available, he will be the guy that gets that start. Now, Kyle Beckerman called into this camp. That makes you wonder if perhaps Jermaine Jones has not recovered fully from that concussion. I think that going with Jeff Cameron certainly isn't a bad option at this point. You saw in this last game, he is the jack of all trades. He's played center back, he's played right back, now central defensive mid for this U.S. national team. The one thing he does offer, he's very much that defensive midfield. He's going to stay home, he's going to win balls. His long balls improved, certainly sprung Eddie Johnson that goal, but what that allows is for Michael Bradley to push forward, and you saw him really spark a number of U.S. attacks, including the one that ended up with Jozy Altidore's goal, by being able to drive through the midfield, read the play, and provide the proper ball. Either way, I think you need to make sure that Bradley has that role. Thereby, either Jones or Cameron needs to really sit back and control that deep line midfield spot.
You're right. Michael Bradley's so good in that big win over Panama, which pushed the U.S. atop the hex, and they can smell Brazil from here. Our very own Matt Doyle is on the ground in Salt Lake City with more about what the U.S. needs to secure that spot in the next World Cup.
Thanks, guys. I'm out here in Salt Lake City where it is sunny and it is hot. Highs in the mid to upper 90s expected through Wednesday, which means, yes, a new environment for the 6th separate World Cup qualifier of this round. It's one of the challenges the U.S. will have to face on Tuesday, and it's something Jurgen Klinsmann talked about on Sunday.
Well, it proved how difficult the hex really is. I mean, you got to go through that stretch. You got to kind of adjust to different circumstances. And you have to get the job done. And I think we had a very difficult start. We had 3 away games out of 4 in the beginning. And after that Honduras experience we had, because we simply couldn't adjust to the climate and the circumstances in Honduras, with that defeat, we really managed the whole process really, really well.
The hex is always fun. I mean, I've only been through it once, but it's been great, and it's always something that's kind of unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get in terms of the teams you're facing, and for us, it's a good opportunity to grow. And I think we've done that this past round, and hopefully we continue to do that.
Well, I think this hexagonal group proves you really how difficult it is and how balanced Central America and North America is now in soccer terms. The Central American countries, they caught up. They challenge Mexico, they challenge us. There is no easy game at all anymore.
We could easily kind of rest and take it easy because we got 6 points, and hopefully we'll get 9, but that's not how you get another 3 points. Hopefully you have to work for it, and I think at our core we're competitors, and I think when you roll a ball out there and say, right, we're going to keep scoring now, guys want to win.
The U.S. is in first place in the hexagonal, which means they're in the driver's seat. They could already smell Brazil. If they win this one, they'll be able to see it. That's all from Salt Lake, and back to you guys in New York.
Thanks, Matt. And another reminder, this game, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and Unimas in Spanish, as well as a live chat on MLSsoccer.com. Final thoughts and a prediction here. We've talked a lot about some individual players, but I wonder, who's the one guy you're watching on Tuesday night when it's US-Honduras?
Well, it's an easy one, Nick. It's Josie Altidore. We've seen over these past few games that the U.S. national team is completely different with a motivated and productive Josie Altidore up top. He can hold the ball up, he's making the right runs, and his finishing right now is spot on. If the service is there, and I expect it to be with Graham Zusi, Michael Bradley, and then whoever plays on that left flank, I think you're going to see him continue this scoring streak and see the U.S. win. I'm going to go 2-1 U.S. I think they go up 2 early. Honduran national team just not very good on the road right now. 2 losses in the hex so far away from Honduras. I think they get a late one, maybe put a little pressure on the U.S., but they hold on. 13 points in a great spot moving into these final few games.
So there you go. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget, 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday night, the U.S. national team in Honduras from Rio Tinto Stadium out there in Sandy, Utah. The game is on ESPN in Spanish on Unimas, and there's a live chat on MLSsoccer.com. That does it for us. Andrew Reeby and Nick Fershaw. Enjoy the game.